A few years ago, the idea of a phone with a 7,000 milliamp hour battery would have sounded ridiculous, like something that could only exist in concept renders. But Motorola just made it real. Again. The company's new Moto G57 Power doesn't just pack a battery that could probably last through a weekend trip, it's also launching with Android 16, a brand new Snapdragon chip, and a price that makes most mid-range phones look overpriced. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It really helps me keep bringing you more tech breakdowns like this one. So, what's the deal with this phone, and why is everyone suddenly paying attention to Motorola again? The Moto G57 Power is Motorola's latest mid-range offering, and it's proof that the brand has quietly figured out how to make practical, reliable phones that don't cost a fortune. At €279 or roughly $320, this thing isn't just about endurance, it's about value. Because when you look at the specs, it's almost absurd how much they've packed into a phone that costs less than half of a flagship. Let's start with the headline number, that massive 7,000 milliamp hour battery. Motorola says it'll last over 2 days on a single charge, and honestly, that sounds believable. If you've ever owned a Moto G Power before, you already know Motorola's battery claims are rarely exaggerated. Even more impressive, the regular Moto G57, the one without the power label, still gets almost 2 days of use from a 5,200 milliamp hour battery. And when you do need to recharge, the 30-watt turbo power charging means you're not stuck waiting for hours. It's not flagship-level fast charging, but it's respectable, especially considering how long that massive cell will last. The phone also debuts Qualcomm's Snapdragon 6S Gen 4, a chip so new that Motorola is claiming the G57 series as the world's first to use it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's faster than the higher-end Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 found in Motorola's G67 Power, but it does give the G57 a modern efficiency boost, which helps stretch that battery life even further. Performance-wise, it's paired with 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of internal storage, which is rare for a phone at this price. So multitasking, media storage, or casual gaming all should feel smooth enough for everyday use. Now let's talk display. You're getting a 6.72-inch Full HD Plus LCD screen with a 120 Hz refresh rate. Again, something you'd expect from a $500 phone, not a $279 one. It's not an OLED, but the smooth refresh rate and solid brightness should make it feel far more premium than the price tag suggests. Then there's the camera setup. On paper, it's solid but not groundbreaking. A 50-megapixel main camera using Sony's Lightia 600 sensor with quad-pixel tech, plus an 8-megapixel ultrawide and another 8-megapixel front camera. You won't be shooting cinematic masterpieces, but for everyday shots in social media, this system should hold up just fine. Motorola even calls it a pro-grade setup. A bit of marketing flair, sure, but it does suggest they've tuned it for consistency more than flash. And the design? Surprisingly stylish for a so-called budget phone. You get vegan leather finishes and Pantone-certified colors like Fluidity, Pink Lemonade, and Corsair, all names that sound more like luxury handbags than phone colors. It's durable too, with IP64 water resistance, MIL STD 810H certification, and Gorilla Glass 7i protecting that big display. Basically, it's built to take a few hits and still look good. The extras round out the experience. Stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos, a headphone jack, NFC, 5G, and Android 16 right out of the box. That last one is a big deal because most budget phones are still launching with Android 15. Motorola deserves credit for giving users the latest software right away, especially when even some of its other phones, like the G67 Power, are still shipping with the older version. So yeah, on paper, the Moto G57 Power checks almost every box a practical smartphone user could want. The only real question is availability. Right now, the Power model is coming to Europe for €279, while the regular G57, the one with the smaller battery, is heading to the Middle East for €249. No word yet on a US release, but if Motorola can bring something similar stateside under the Moto G Power 2026 name for under $300, it could dominate the American budget phone market. And that's the interesting part here. While companies like Samsung, Google, and Apple keep pushing expensive, flagship phones with smaller and smaller battery capacities, Motorola is doing the opposite, building bigger, tougher, longer-lasting phones for less money. It's not flashy innovation, but it's practical. And practicality is exactly what a lot of people want right now. It's hard not to appreciate what Motorola is doing, especially in a market where battery life has somehow become an afterthought. The Moto G57 Power might not have the best camera or the most advanced display, but it nails the fundamentals that actually matter to everyday users. A big bright screen, massive battery, clean software, enough power to last for years. If Motorola keeps this up, we might be looking at a genuine comeback story, one built not on hype, but on smart, sensible engineering that respects your wallet. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section.